Hello everybody, this is Matt with TechnoAxe Gaming. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys liked the video that I posted this morning. I stayed up way too late last night doing the editing because I wanted it to be flashy. And I realize that's kind of a style that you guys are not used to, at least on this channel. But I wanted to do something that was really good. And hopefully I hit the mark right there, and maybe it'll get better in the future when I do that sort of thing. But in any case, if you guys were able to get through all of that, I appreciate it, and I hope you guys were able to get the concepts. If not, I'm going to just kind of like go through the basic premise, the conclusion that I came up with at the end, and basically it's the conclusion is that the craters of the moon, in my opinion, are not caused by asteroid impacts on its surface. And I have some proof right here that I'm going to give you that proves that this is the case. All right. So as you can see, we're at Google Moon. This is something that you can actually do. I'll give you a link in the description below. But as you can see, you can go to this link and you can kind of explore the moon for yourself. And it's kind of like a patch job, but I don't blame NASA at all. I would not be jealous of the person that is in charge of basically making this thing look realistic. As you can see, there's kind of patches up and down the surface for, I guess, something happened here where the probe wasn't able to do this right. I have no idea. Okay, so once again, the theory is that asteroids did not cause the craters here on the moon. And I can prove it to you by simply, and you guys can do this along with me if we want, but you can go and drag this thing and go all the way to the North Pole, and here it is. And this speaks volumes to me. Okay, so what you're seeing is a massive increase in the density of craters along the surface of the moon as you get closer to the North Pole. There are a lot of craters here, and you can see that right here, but this is a lot greater right here. And as you get to the North Pole here, you can see that the change in the surface is just intense. It's massive. And not only that, I mean, this is one of two features that's like this. And the other feature is at the South Pole right here. And you can see it's almost exactly in distribution, at least, that you can see that the distribution of the craters along the surface of the moon get a lot greater as you approach the South Pole. And this South Pole is just amazing to me because it looks almost like somebody drilled into the surface there. Not only that, even though these are kind of like similar phenomena, you can see that the craters kind of look different than the craters right here, and there's a reason for that. And the reason for that kind of goes along with the electric universe theory, but basically, in a nutshell, because the North Pole is charged differently than the South Pole. The South Pole is negatively charged, and the North Pole is positively charged. Your craters will have a different kind of effect. And that's basically when you conclude that asteroids did not, in fact, collide with this body of objects in space. All right. If you think of it, gravity, by its very nature, as we defined it, is a very uniform thing. You might actually argue that gravity is different along the poles, and if you do, that is actual evidence that gravity is a direct product of some sort of the electric force, as I stated in the video. But even so, like the change in the force in gravity is not enough to make a difference in terms of like attracting bodies to your surface right here. It's just not able to do it. As a matter of fact, you can see like videos of like people walking around trying to like hike to the South Pole or the North Pole. So this is definitely not a gravitational phenomenon to me. Instead, this is basically electrical fields, plasma currents flowing into and out of the planet from some other body at some point in time, and that's what created the scarring on the surface of the moon. Granted, it's all over, but the fact that it's distributed more and more along the poles of the moon, that speaks more volume to the electrical effect than it does the asteroid impact effect. And in fact, this is not a unique thing in our solar system. We're going to go ahead and go to Google Mercury here. This is the planet Mercury. Welcome. It's very hot on days and very cold during nighttime. And as you can see, the surface of Mercury is very similar to the moon. Granted, this is a bigger body of objects, so and the distribution of the craters is a little bit different, but you will see when we get to the poles here, you will see some of the same phenomenon here. The craters, even though this is a kind of like a different kind of surface here, you can see that when you get very, very close to the pole here, the craters kind of coalesce and get the density of the craters get greater, and you can see that the impact along the North Pole is just massive here. And once again, you can go into the South Pole and you'll get a similar result. You get this really really defined etching here at the South Pole, and that's the most prominent feature in terms of craters. And you can see the craters around the South Pole are a lot more intense as well. You can kind of see that the craters here are a little bit more intense than what we get along the surface. So that is my argument right there. And you can kind of see the real world examples because we have a probe right now that we just sent to Saturn. And Saturn, you can see that the effect of Saturn is, you can see that it's undergoing kind of a similar process to what we are seeing in Earth, where the aurora borealis is basically the Birkeland currents going from the sun to the poles of our planet. Well, Saturn is going through the same deal here, and you can see the intensity of the electrical connection between the sun and itself being manifest in these red glowy things near the poles of the planet. I don't know if Mars shows a little bit. Google Mars is more splotchy than you could ever know. Like, I don't understand if we can do Google Mercury. We can't have a clearer picture of Mars. But I would suspect that the poles of the planet here would show kind of a similar phenomenon. But check out my other video. I kind of like go into a little bit better detail about why the surface features of Mars are the result of etching, and then I'll post a link to you on the symbols of an alien sky #2, where it goes through the electrical plasma etching processes, basically to create the surfaces here. I don't know why. I mean, this is such a really bad quality in comparison to the other planets, because you would see this massive scar if you could actually see the real planet. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that right here. Mars surface here. Let's go through. We can go through and do an image search here. Let's see, Mars planet. And there you go. You can see the surface has a massive scar here. And some of the Electric Universe scientists believe that that is very consistent with a huge, massive electrical etching being done to the surface there. And that's all I've got for now. I know that there's somebody who spoke to me. There's been a number of people that have told me that the Electric Universe concept is a dead and debunked concept. And I acknowledge the possibility that it is, but I have not seen that yet. And in future videos, I may go into the debunking side of things, because we want to be absolutely sure that this is actually the case. I want to be able to either prove or disprove the validity of this theory, because once again, I'm going to state that I do not believe in the current version of our cosmos. There's been too many surprises being done by that our astronomers and our cosmologists have encountered, where they're just completely caught off guard by what they find, and it speaks volumes to what their theoretical models say, that they're false, and maybe we should be looking at our universe a little bit differently. So that's what I have to say. I will be doing more gaming content, don't worry. But I'll probably be interdispersing this sort of thing into the channel because I really like this topic, and actually it's right up my alley because of my main profession. It's electrical engineering, if you want to know. But in any case, I will see you guys next time.